So we're showing mobile device testing, so the LTE dongles, the USB devices, showing the performance testing to see the actual data rate, the throughput. We're then showing the actual certification. So to put a handset on the market, it needs to be certified, pass test cases, and we're showing the very first test cases in the industry up and running. Alongside there, we're also showing the actual deployment of the base stations and field deployment. So we have handheld field test equipment that's showing to go out in the networks, measure the coverage, measure the performance, and help people deploying LTE to actually debug problems, to get the coverage, and make sure they get a good service to customers.
So we take the opportunities of Mobile World Congress to introduce during that show some new solution on our drive test solution. Right now we do support LTE. A couple of years ago we did introduce the LTE receiver, and now we are introducing the phone support or dongle support on the drive test solution as a phone trace for this solution. On top of that, we've got end-to-end monitoring with a distributed network analyzer and a signal analyzer real-time. Now also we'll be able to play some log file from this over-the-air measurement with drive test and integrate that into this signaling analyzer real-time to combine these two solutions to have the end-to-end monitoring solution for that. On top of that, we've got also on the RF side, for the RF and measurement and maintenance, some solution just to verify if the network is up and running and if there's any problem in terms of transmission. We've got some solution on the physical layer to test that, and anything from portable instrument up to some benchtop instrument for the R&D lab, even for these network operators.
On the handset side, it's similar principles. Although it's a new technology, the basic way to test, the certification, the R&D is the same. But the big difference is on the base station side, because on the base station side we've now moved to a new technology called SON, self-organizing networks, and in there the drive test element is very much reduced. So we see a lot more emphasis on our tools, which are the early deployment, the early measurement characteristics, measurements of coverage, because that data has to go into algorithms. So for a 4G network, it should manage itself. It should take care of its own coverage. It should take care of its own settings. But the problem is, for it to do that, it needs the right starting point. So it's a new type of testing at the start, which removes optimization testing later. The thing about SON is it really uses the advantages of all IP. So LTE is designed for an all IP network. If you have an all IP network, you can put it on an existing IP infrastructure. So you can take away lots of operational costs. And if you take that away, why not use the IP capability to do extra things? So I think for operators looking at the actual operating cost, the OPEX of the network, SON can really help them reduce that.
Right, so for the SON, for this self-optimized network, it's something that the operators want to put together in order to have kind of a plug-and-play network. And that's easy on paper, but there's a lot of things going on in the background to make that happen. So normally with SON self-optimized networks, you don't need drive test solution, because that will optimize itself. Although we're not quite there yet. So yes, it brings a lot of challenges in order to enable this capability on the network. So still you will need drive test, still you will need the distributed network analyzer that we do propose in order to put this self-optimized network and monitor, for instance, things like KPI and throughput, and have that end-to-end, and that's why our solutions are key for this plug-and-play network.
What we're bringing now is test equipment where maybe the initial investment in the test equipment is more, because the test equipment can do more. But the return on investment the operator gets is very, very quickly, very positive. We can cut out much testing later in the life cycle. So the plan is to give operators a way to invest early, get it right first time, and save huge amounts of debug and problems later on.
Exactly. Right now in the industry, with the launch of LTE, for instance, everything needs to be broader, cheaper, and better. So the operators are banking on the quality of experience to have a successful launch, for instance, for LTE. With Agilent, when you buy our solution, it's not just for one standard. The flexibility of our product, they're designed in a way that yesterday they were supporting SHPA+, today LTE, and they are already ready for the evolution of LTE. So our platform are not just single format, but be able to support several formats on one single platform, and that from early design up to the implementation of the solution. For instance, if I take the drive test solution, a few years ago, as I say, we did introduce the LTE receiver that was based on the platform that did support wideband CDMA, GSM Edge, and SHPA+, and we keep on make that platform evolve. So the cost of ownership for the customer is really important. So it's better that for every standard that comes up, he doesn't buy a new platform every time and can just upgrade what he's got and use his asset to the maximum. The challenge for the technology, of course, is now it's getting broader and faster. So in early design of our boxes, when you do the planning for a solution, we want to make sure that it's not just up to the specs of the next generation, but we've got a bit more headroom in order to have something that can evolve and even protect more the investment of the customer.
Well, it's really going to be the handover, so understanding where is the coverage, where are the handover points, to map properly the coverage of a cell and to say, now I need to hand over to a 3G network, because there's no real experience in the world of how to set handover parameters. So you need to really understand the details of the LTE signal to try and figure out when should I hand over. There is no rule of thumb that we have a rule of thumb for 3G, for 2G. We have no rule of thumb for LTE. You must make some thorough investigation to get it right. On the handset side, of course, it's more handover combinations. Just the sheer volume of testing on a handset goes up huge times when we have this. So for handset testing, it's just more and more and more heavy testing. On the infrastructure, yes, they have to now they have traditional optimization, traditional drive test mapping, and trying to overlay that with LTE and so on will be a real challenge. That's why we try to get these new tools that really help get more information earlier.